This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Live Bet Sunday, this is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Dustin Swedelson, Will Hill, we're getting set for the final game of the Elite Eight. About to tip off, we've got Michigan State taking on Auburn. Want to get you the latest number here. As of now, Tigers laying 5.5. That totals 147 and a hook. To help us preview and break down the action, gonna welcome in our guy Ryan Andrade. I already messed it up. Ryan Andrade, RotoWire College Basketball Editor at Roto_Ryan on X. And he joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Ryan, thanks for doing this, man. I know we're tight on time. Game's about to get going. Just want to get your thoughts first on Michigan State. Not exactly Tom Izzo's best team, but here he is, one win away from a Final Four. When you look at Sparty, what needs to go right if they're going to pull something off against a team like Auburn today?
Yeah, well, I think it comes down to rebounding for them. I think, you sort of mentioned it. I don't think this is probably one of Tom Izzo's most talented teams he's had in recent years, but these guys, they play hard and they rebound the ball really well. I don't think they did the best job of that against a Mississippi team that's a little bit on the smaller end. I expected them to have, a little bit less trouble in that one, but Auburn absolutely hammered Michigan on the glass. They out-rebounded them by 22. So I think that's really going to be where it starts and ends. And, both of these coaches, they're preaching physicality, and I think this game is going to be just an all-out war.
We saw Friday night, the crowd really took over. Auburn sort of woke up, and once they woke up, they just blew past Michigan. I'm on Auburn here. I think that can kind of carry over. I don't love Michigan State shooting. What are you seeing here in terms of the side and the total?
Yeah, I'm right with you. I mean, I think Auburn just has a little bit more on the offensive end. I trust some of those guys more. Tahad Pettiford, I think, was absolutely sensational. He absolutely took that game over when really a lot of things were not going right for Auburn. I think he's really their best shot creator on this team. He's a freshman. He can get to the rim whenever he wants. He's got a great step back. So he does a lot of great things. I think Denver Jones has been hot of late from three as well. So they got a lot of pieces there. I would lean towards Auburn in the points. And then, I mentioned, I think it's going to be a very physical game. So I like the under as well on this one.
All right, from a player prop perspective, Michigan State's going to need some guys who can shoot shots from the outside. Someone has to help Jace Richardson. If we're going to target someone for them, target someone for Auburn, who are we looking at player prop-wise here?
Yeah, I actually would sort of lean the other way with Trey Holloman, under 15.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. I mean, I think Auburn did a really good job against Michigan. Trey Donaldson and Roddy Gale were kind of rolling coming into that one. Didn't really perform that well. Both of them really struggled from the field, and it was pretty much just down to the big men. So I think Auburn does an excellent job of putting pressure on the perimeter, and I think a lot of those Michigan State guards are going to have a really tough time. Tahad Pettiford, I already mentioned him. I like his to go over 14 points in this one. He's scored 16, 23, and 20 in the 3 tournament games so far. Auburn knows they're a different team with that. Bruce Pearl knows that. They're going to get him involved early. Usually comes off the bench, but he's going to play a lot of minutes in this one.
Yeah, I'm with you, by the way. I laid the 4.5 with Auburn and you guys, so I don't see any way Sparty hangs the entire game, Will.
Yeah, I'm just curious, Ryan. Once the game starts from a live betting perspective, what's the one matchup you'll be looking for the first 5 minutes, the first 8 minutes where, all right, if Auburn is able to do this or if Michigan State's able to do that, that bodes well for either team?
Yeah, for me, it's Jackson Kohler. I mean, this guy has had a really good season for the most part, but he's really struggled for whatever reason in this tournament. It's probably one of the reasons why I think Michigan State hasn't really lived up to their potential really to this point in the tournament, but they've been able to escape with wins. I'm looking for that matchup between Kohler and Janai Broom. I think that's going to be a big one, whether Kohler can, be physical enough to, box out, keep him off the offensive glass. I think that matchup right there is going to be very telling early in the game.
Yeah, I think Broom instills his will and his dominance in this one. We saw it the other night. He's a physical freak, man. Before this game tips, we've kind of broken that down completely here. I want to get your thoughts on what happened earlier. Houston, easy winners over Tennessee. They advance to the Final Four. What'd you see from the Cougs in the win over the Volunteers that you like that maybe could give them a chance to beat Duke here?
Well, I mean, I think they just did a great job of, just one-on-one defense. I mean, Tennessee, they love to sort of drive and kick and get Ziegler and Chaz Lanier getting towards the hoop, kick it out for some easy buckets, and they could not get past any of those guys. I mean, they did a great job individual defense, shutting that down. I think Houston also did a really good job getting to the glass. The thing with Houston, especially if you're looking for this Duke matchup is, they don't have necessarily the height of a team like Duke, but the wingspan on some of those guys. I mean, they got a lot of just 6'8" guys with just mega wingspan, Francis, Tugler, Roberts, all those guys are just so physical and can compete on the glass with Duke. I think, the other thing they're going to have to do is just slow the game down like they did, basically to a crawl this game. I mean, Tennessee only had 15 points in the first half. So, I think that's going to be the biggest key for Houston is just crash the offensive glass as much as possible and just slow this Duke team down as much as they can.
Any initial feel on Duke Houston in terms of the number? 4.5, 136.5. I know we just got these numbers. And what do you think? Let's say it's Auburn, Florida in the next round. What do you think that number will be?
Yeah, I mean, I think Auburn, Florida would probably be even a little bit lower, maybe 2.5, 3.5, somewhere around there. I'd expect Florida to get the edge just because of, how they've been playing this year. And also, they won the first matchup at Auburn. So that was an interesting game as well. I think, I think the thing with Duke that, Tennessee didn't quite have is they just have a lot of really big guards. I think that's going to be the difference in this game is that, the athleticism and the quickness of some of the Houston guards, I think really bothered the Tennessee guys. But, these Duke guards are all 6'6", 6'7". They all can see over all the pressure, find all these guys. So, I would lean towards taking Duke in the points there. Auburn, I think, is really interesting. I do expect them to win this game against Michigan. When you look at a team like Florida, though, this team's really struggled, I think, in this tournament, apart from the Maryland game. They could have easily lost that UConn game. They probably should have lost last night against Texas Tech had it not been for the heroics of Walter Clayton. So, I think this is still a Florida team that's not quite playing exactly how they want to. And I think this Auburn team, should they win tonight, they have a good chance to go and get them and advance the championship game.
Ryan Andrade is with us, RotoWire College Basketball Editor at Roto_Ryan on X. Auburn jumps out to a 4-0 lead. Who is it? Janai Broome just getting buckets, and he is just a force in the paint. So, Ryan, just curious right now that we're down to, 5 teams technically. By the end of this game, we'll have our Final Four. Who's cutting down the nets the way it shakes out now? Who do you feel ends up winning the whole thing?
I mean, if I had to say right now, I would say Duke just because I feel like they're playing the best of any team. I feel like this is a Duke team that can win any way they need to. They can win a game in the 60s. They can win a game in the 90s. They shoot it super efficiently. They've got so much length at every single position. I think they do a great job of taking away the 3-point line and forcing, a lot of the guys to go straight at all the shot blockers inside. And, that's tough to play against. They could do a great job on the boards. I think John Shire's really grown this year and, made this team a lot tougher than, some of the earlier exits we've seen in the last couple of years. But, I think he's going to have these guys ready to go. And to me, I just think they're about a step above everybody else.
Well, Ryan, we appreciate you doing this today. You can give Ryan a follow over on X at Roto_Ryan. He is Ryan Andrade. I think I got it right there. RotoWire College Basketball Editor. Thanks for doing this, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. So, shockingly, Will, as we were saying goodbye to Ryan, Michigan State hits a 3, gets a stop, comes back the other end. Jace Richardson gets fouled on an and one, and they're about to tie it up here with a free throw, and it's good. We're tied up. But shocked to see Sparty knock down a 3. That is not what Michigan State likes to do this year.
No, and the pregame total already up from 147 to 150.5, which makes sense. You got 12 points here in the first less than 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. So it's still early, but the shots are falling. 2 for 3 for Michigan State, 3 for 3 for Auburn. That'll adjust the total. That's actually something where, you know what, you see something like that, you think to at some point play back on the under, because these teams are not going to shoot 66% and 100% for the rest of the game, I don't think.
And Auburn forces a 3 late in the shot clock. They miss it there. I did lay it with you with Auburn. This team shoots 37% from 3. They've got 4 guys shooting over that from beyond the arc. They're great defending the 2. Michigan State's going to end up being more reliant on 2s throughout this game. I think what we're seeing from Broome early on, he's going to control the paint. So I love Auburn. You can still lay 4.5 in game. Are you ready to take your sports betting to the next level? The Sharp Plays at sharpplays.com is your secret weapon. Since 2011, they've been building trusted relationships with major sports books and sports insiders worldwide. They provide daily updates on what top professional sports bettors and betting groups are wagering on, so you're always ahead of the game. But that's not all. They've just launched a cutting-edge AI betting analyst that provides even more selections and reports, giving you the edge you need to win. The best part is you can check out the Sharp Plays free content anytime, get real-time betting action reports, alerts, and more through email and X directly from the pros, plus explore all their records, including detailed online logs, right on the website at sharpplays.com. With the Sharp Plays, you're joining a team that's never had a losing year. What do you have to lose? Start today and get access to the best betting insights over at sharpplays.com. Trip to the Final Four is on the line. Thus far, Sparty able to hang with the Auburn Tigers. Will that continue? We'll take you through the first half on the other side of the break. This is Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Live Bet Sunday. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. I'm Dustin Swedelson, hanging out with my guy Will Hill, taking you through all the action from a betting perspective. We've got a lot happening. At the break, Michigan State and Auburn. Auburn is up 10-8. Right now, you have to lay 5.5 if you want to bet on the Tigers. Total is at 146.5, Will. Anything jump out to you so far?
No, about what we'd expect, and the lines reflect that. We're basically where we were when we started 5.5 minutes ago, 10-8. Total 146.5, 5.5 for the spread. So right around pregame numbers. So no, I mean, you can hear the one takeaway, I guess, you can hear it. And I have the volume on really low in the background. You can hear it when Auburn scores. This is, and no surprise, we're in SEC country. This is a big-time Auburn crowd. So I think that matters. I think it mattered down the stretch against Michigan. Michigan just got overwhelmed, and the momentum of that run just sort of snowballed for Auburn on Friday. So keep that in mind in terms of these runs. That's where I think the home crowd really comes into effect. These runs, it's hard to sustain the runs on the road. Though these runs can turn into avalanches when you have the crowd behind you. The kids on the other team can get a little shook, and things can snowball from there. But I don't know, anything you feel you feel differently about 5.5 minutes in?
So far, I mean, impressed with Michigan State going shot for shot with Auburn, but at some point, all those shots from 3 are going to start falling for the Tigers. And at any point in time, they can run things through Janai Broome where everyone converges on him in the paint. And if he kicks it out and those shooters, and they've got like 4 of them for Auburn, hit those shots from the outside, I think things could get out of control for Michigan State fast. And the number kind of reflects that. We're up to 5.5 despite it being a 2-point game. So I don't think from a betting perspective, the market anticipates Sparty being able to keep up this pace. They're not built for a fight like a team Auburn is built for. Auburn can do it on both ends. Super efficient offensively, defensively, but more importantly, they can hit those threes. And I just don't trust the depth of shooting for Michigan State to be able to go shot for shot with them. That may not play out in the second half, or in the first half, but it will in the second. One thing to note, Michigan State's been horrible over the last 15, 16 games in the first half at covering numbers. Now, they've traditionally been the favorite in that role. This time they're an underdog. We'll see how that goes here, but they have not been a good first half team going back about 15, 16 games.
Yeah, good point. Michigan State gave an early lead to Ole Miss, fell behind even Bryant in the first round. And New Mexico was up 9-10 points in that game last week. Is Auburn has a jumper here. Couldn't see who that was, but it is 12-8. Broom is catching a breather. They just showed him on the bench. So Auburn up by 4 as they're getting the ball back here, up by 4. Nice good early start here for Auburn. Two fouls on Auburn, 1 for Michigan State. Always a good idea to keep an eye on these fouls if you're going to bet the the in-game total, things like that. So a steal for Auburn, and they turn it into a 3 on the other end. So 15-8 here. Early danger time here for the Spartans. I don't want to over-exaggerate. I know it's only 7, but the crowd's going crazy. You're down 7. You're not the best shooting team, the best scoring team. A little bit of danger zone here. You don't want this to balloon to 11-12 and start to put yourself in a position where it's going to be hard to come back. So very important stretch here these next couple possessions for Michigan State, I would say.
Yeah, and you got to chip away. You got to play your game, which is looking for the 2s. They just looked for 1 and didn't get it. Auburn comes back the other end, shoots a 3, but gets the board. That's the thing. Auburn's a physical team. Auburn can dominate the glass. Auburn is a team that can play any type of game that this could play out as. Michigan State just isn't built for that. This is not a good team. This is not a talented team. I laid that 4.5, Will, and I didn't think twice about it. I really loved Auburn today. And I think Auburn, if they play to their potential, people may not like this, I think they're better than Florida.
That's not crazy. I mean, Auburn was number 1 seed. Them and Duke is co-favorites. I mean, we were talking about Auburn and Duke versus the field not that long ago. Florida has emerged here late, and Auburn stumbled down the stretch. But I think you could throw a blanket over Auburn and Florida, and even Houston for that matter. I think Duke is clearly a cut above these teams. But look, if this continues, and I hope for our sake we get a good game here. I hope we both cover our numbers, but I hope we get a little excitement. Oh, we have baseball to keep an eye on, so it's not like we're naked here. We have nothing to talk about if this game gets out of hand. And we're looking at possibly all 4 1 seeds here, so it's not like as another 3 gets splashed and we're up to a 10-point lead. So, boy, Sparty could be in some early trouble here. You're not going to sit here and give out final scores, 7-8 minutes into the game, but this is just not a good situation for Michigan State here to start.
12-0 run, last 3 minutes and 12 seconds for Auburn. So that is not optimal if you backed Michigan State. They can't hit a shot, man. They're missing left and right. Jace Richardson, a wide on a 3 there. Auburn has the basketball. They're up by 10. There's 12:08 to go in the first half. And this almost feels insurmountable. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know about Michigan's offense. This is not Ole Miss. Let's be very clear. This isn't Sean Padula running around with his head cut off, hoisting up 3s. This is a deep Auburn roster with guys who can score. They can go to anyone. And while Sparty defends the 3 well, you can't defend everyone beyond the arc. Someone's going to be open. Someone's going to get a look. And I love the way Auburn's playing this. Run it through Janai Broom. There's a trip to the Final Four on the line. You'll get a break after this game. Run it through your best player and work it from there. And thus far, it's working. He just gets a bucket, makes it 20-8. And Sparty on the other end is missing 3s left and right. They've missed 4 shots, I think, on this back-to-back-to-back here. Make it 5. Missed 5. I believe that's 5 misses in a row in the span of about 30 seconds, Will.
They are getting some offensive rebounds, though, which is, if you're Auburn, I'm sure you're not happy about that. Auburn finally clears it up and cleans it out. How about this? 67.5 team total for Michigan State. Under? Are they really going to score 68-plus points?
Under 68.5. I think that is a very savvy play by you, Will. That's a good call.
Let's see.
I would go under, because even when they're getting looks, they're not knocking them down. Another 3-point attempt and another brick. Now the offensive rebounds, they missed the putback on the offensive rebound, and they get the rebound on that. So they got an offensive rebound, missed the putback, got the offensive rebound of that, missed the shot following that, and the ball is back in Auburn's hands. This is a comedy.
Have 8 offensive rebounds in the last minute and a half of game time.
They have 5 offensive rebounds right now, does Michigan State. 5.
Feels light. It feels like they had 3 or 4 in that one possession, then 1 or 2 just there.
Janai Broom knocking down 3s, and if he's going to be doing that, this thing's over. 23-8.
23-8. What do we got going on for baseball? Any good baseball games?
To quote the late, great Billy Packer, this one is over. This one's over, people. Michigan State ain't coming back. Let's get you a live number if you're feeling feisty. We're 10-20 to go in the first. You can get plus 750 on Michigan State. Auburn's laying 13.5. man, this may be a game where we look, Will, and we go, why weren't we betting alt lines for Auburn?
Yep, it's possible. It's absolutely possible. Problem is, you don't want to sit here. Like Michigan State's missed so many shots, you don't want to be late to the party.
Yeah.
But better late than never, maybe. I don't know. I think of all the things, Michigan State team total is now down to 66.5. I'm only looking at one book. I'm looking at DraftKings. We can shop here as we talk. That would be the way I would play Michigan State team total under.
Every time I check in on my bet on Arizona team total against Matthew Boyd, Boyd's got a runner or two on. There's one out, and Arizona doesn't play anything. They trail the Cubs 1-0. Looking up now, fourth inning, 2 on, 2 out. Diamondbacks with a chance to plate some runs. I need this over 4.5. I'd like to stay perfect in baseball. J.P. Sears got there with the strikeout prop. Ryan O'Hearn earlier. I'd like Arizona to get here because it was my favorite play of the day, and it's a ball up the middle that's right at the second baseman. So that will end the inning. That's looking like a big fat loser. You know what's being a winner? Coming and hanging out at Circa, because right now, Circa Las Vegas owner Derek Stevens, he's offering you 15% off 3 incredible properties. Circa Las Vegas, the D Hotel, and the Golden Gate. Whether you're lounging by Stadium Swim or enjoying all the excitement that it has to offer you in Vegas, you'll save big with the promo code VSIN15. Book your stay now at circalasvegas.com and use VSIN15 to get 15% off. Your Vegas adventure starts here. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We were hoping for a good final game here in the Elite Eight. I don't believe we're getting it, Will. 23-8, Auburn is up on Michigan State. Auburn's laying 13.5. That total's 145.5. I think about that team total because aside from Sparty having trouble scoring, at some point Auburn may pull their starters. That's what this game kind of looks like. I know it's crazy to say in an Elite Eight game, but
yeah, we're a ways from that. There's a trip to the Final Four. They'll be up 30 or something before they pull their start.
Okay.
At some point, I would look at it like more in terms of they're going to slow the game down once you're up 20, 30. But again, we're a long way from that. But I know what you mean.
I'm just surprised we're at 145.5. I thought there would have been a bigger adjustment here. I don't know. That seems a little bit big. What did this thing close? 149.5?
7.
147?
147.
No, you're right. Maybe it opened 149.5. Closed 147. So, by the way, I believe there was some Michigan State and under money because I got 4.5. This thing opened 5.5. So that is interesting there because Michigan does not look like they're in the same class as Auburn, which was kind of expected to show up at some point. So we'll take you through the first half of this one. 10:27 to go. Auburn up 23-8. Plus all the baseball you can handle. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. This is Live Bet Sunday.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back at it again on Live Bet Sunday. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Dustin Swedelson, Will Hill here taking you through all the afternoon action. We've got a matchup in the Elite Eight where Auburn is up 23-10 on Michigan State. Trip to the Final Four on the line. Winner of this one will take on the Florida Gators, who had a huge win yesterday against Texas Tech, coming from behind late in that one. We've got baseball happening as well, where up in Seattle right now, Will, the Sacramento, first slip-up of the year, Sacramento Athletics lead the Mariners 1-0. At some point, maybe the Seattle front office will add a bat or two to this lineup.
Yeah, it feels like it's been that same team. By the way, Michigan State hits a 3, so 23-13. Perhaps they've stabilized the game. 10 seems a lot better than 15, which it was a couple minutes ago. But yeah, it feels like it's been that same Mariners team for 3-4 years now. It's just they get a good pitch game every night, and every time you look up, it's either they're winning 2-1 or losing 2-1. They don't need a lot of offense because they send a really good starting pitcher to the mound every single day. I think Gilbert and Kirby can be a little overrated at times. Every time, I don't know, maybe it's just when I bet on them, they don't seem to live up to.
No, you're right.
But they're both good.
You're right. You're right because they're not power pitchers. They don't rack up the strikeouts. There is contact. Yeah. Now they're very efficient. They have great control. They won't walk a lot of guys. But I'm with you.
Woo's good too. Woo's pitching a good game today. They're good. They're deep. Just they can't hit, and you don't need much. 3-4 runs a game, you're going to win a lot of games. They get a pretty well pitched game every day. It's just not a lot of offense, and they're playing a typical low-scoring game. By the way, is it Sacramento Athletics or is it just the Athletics? Did they give them the Sacramento?
Yeah, you're right. I think it's just the Athletics. But Brian Wu, by the way, Brian Wu is their 5th starter because Kirby's on the IL. This is the 4th game of the year, right? Last year, a sub-3 ERA, 101 strikeouts, 121 and a third innings pitched, a .90 whip. That is your SP5 when everyone's healthy for Seattle. I don't understand how this front office didn't go out and trade one of these guys, specifically Luis Castillo, who's the older one of the group. Why not trade him and bring back maybe 2 bats? You don't have to get an impact bat, but we're looking at a Mariners lineup that's just some average major league bats in the lineup away from being a good playoff team.
Yep, absolutely. You never know what trades were offered or rejected, so it's hard. But yeah, I agree. The construction of the team is odd. They haven't spent a lot of money. They haven't done much to improve the team. Is Michigan State now 7-0 run, and what was a 15-point game just a blink of an eye ago is now an 8-point game, and a lot of time left. So maybe we were a little premature here, just declaring this game over.
No, I'll double down. I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'll bet Auburn. I'll bet Auburn here. What kind of number am I getting on Auburn? Let's see.
We're down to 7.5.
I don't love that. Like a little shorter, but I think Auburn is going to take care of business here as they line up for a 3 and they miss it. Want to also bring there's a home run. Julio Rodriguez, who they desperately need to carry the offense. The Mariners just took a lead with a 2-run homer. So 2-1, Seattle now on top of No City Vagabond Athletics there in Seattle. So I want to throw these at you real
the abbreviation, quick. You know why I noticed that? The abbreviation, it looks so weird. You know how it'll be like, Seattle is SCA or New York Mets is NYM. Athletics is just ATH. It's Ath.
Yes, it looks like you're recruiting in the college football video game. You're recruiting an athlete. Want to throw a couple stats at you. First off, this is via the Elias Sports Bureau. The Pittsburgh Pirates are the first team to be walked off for the first 3 losses in a season since the 1924 Pirates. It's been over 100 years since a team was walked off in their first 3 losses of a season. That is the Pirates. And then we mentioned Rafael Devers, tough start to the year. He is officially 0 for 16 with 12 strikeouts through the first 4 games of the season.
That's incredible. He's such a good hitter, too. And especially, I watch him a lot as a Yankee fan. He owns the Yankees. He owns Cole. So to see him go 0 for 16 at any stretch, I know it's a small sample, but that is odd. That is alarming.
Happiness matters. If you're not happy at work, it's going to show out on the field, and that's what's happening for Devers. Guy just wants to play third base.
That's what it is? Because he can't play third. He stinks at third, by the way.
I don't know. That's the irony of the whole thing, is he wants to play third but not play it well.
Yeah.
The idea of moving Alex Bregman, a Gold Glove third baseman, who I also think is very overrated, by the way. You look up the numbers, I think he's a very overrated player. But a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, to move him to second so that Rafi Devers can bobble a few balls in the hot corner, it's a wild idea. Play DH, do the one thing you do, the one thing that got you paid a lot of money, and move on. And then Tristan Casas opening his mouth about what shouldn't happen. Dude, who the hell are you? I mean, Alex Cora, known to be a player's manager. How about we get some control over what's happening in the clubhouse before the season starts?
Yeah, and a nice win on Thursday, 1-0, but they've lost. They've lost 3 since. So we're commercial here, 23-15. I think we're at the under 8 timeout.
Yes.
Total down to 139.5. So that is a low total to begin with, and now it's going to be. Well, it wasn't. I don't know. We didn't talk about this too much, and now it seems like past posting. But I was surprised it was as high as 147.5, 147, 147.5. I don't know. Michigan State can't shoot. They are playing, it seems like, with some tempo off to go and to see the box score in terms of the possessions, but it's just hard for this Michigan State team to score.
Yeah, they're 2 of 12 from 3. That's under 17%. Yeah. That's just not going to get it done. On the other side, Auburn's been okay. They're 3 of 9 from 3, but the real problem is there's no answers for Janai Broome. Broome's got 11 points. He's got 4 boards. He's got 2 assists. And because of that one sequence, by the way, with the offensive rebounding, Michigan State's got 6 offensive rebounds. You should not be losing in a game where you have 6 offensive rebounds with 6:40 to go in the first. They were missing the putbacks to the putbacks during that run of plays. Michigan State, this could be a very different game had they hit a couple of easy shots there.
Yeah, and that's the Auburn has 2 bugaboos. They foul a lot, and you can get them on the glass. So Michigan State gets the line, and Michigan State can rebound. So from that perspective, it's a decent matchup for Michigan State. I just thought Auburn thought they sort of woke up on Sunday on Friday night against Michigan, and I like the crowd. I just think this is a situation where they can win the game by the 6-7 plus that you need them to cover this number. But they had a chance to, I'm going to say, finish off Michigan State. But when you're up 15, you got them on the ropes, and to let them off the hook here and to go cold and let them back in the game. Now it's an 8-point game. Now 8 is just so much different than 15, obviously.
Yep. And by the way, the Arizona Diamondbacks have a runner in scoring position with
there you go
2 outs. I cannot deal with a team when you bet their team total and all they do is leave runners on base. Matthew Boyd stinks. He shouldn't be a major league pitcher. I know he was good last year for the Guardians, but let's be real. This guy's been a journeyman the last few years for a reason. He's a soft-throwing lefty. Do what you do, Arizona.
Throws harder now. Throws harder. He went to drive line or whatever those things where he throws. He's thrown it. Because I remember last year from the playoffs, he was hitting 95 last year.
Okay, no.
He went from the upper 80s.
Conspiracy. That radar gun in the postseason's not real.
I don't know.
That postseason's not real.
These guys go to that drive line thing, and you basically sacrifice your arm because whatever you're doing mechanically or physically to generate that velocity makes it hard to just stay healthy, but you can kind of juice the velocity that way.
Your arm is not built for that. You're maximizing it every single throw. Look, he may throw harder, but I don't know if I buy those posts. In the postseason, all of a sudden, everyone throws 102. That's not happening every single day. I'm sorry. That's crazy. By the way, Cavaliers up 116-108 with 4.5 to go on the Clippers. Make that 118-108. We've not really touched on the NBA. However, before we get out of here, I will have 3 or 4 NBA plays in the late slate that we can get to. And if you're looking for more
tease, gentlemen, that's called a tease. That's a great tease.
And if you're looking for more plays, we have a ton of them over at VSiN.com/picks. In fact, the website has a lot going on right now. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber. You'll get everything we do. I mentioned the picks, also the betting splits, full access to all the articles where every now and then you'll see Will Hill's name on the byline of an article breaking down some action. Adam Burke, Steve Makinen, we've got the best of the best handicapping every single day so you don't have to. Go to VSiN.com, become a pro, $9.99, and if your bracket is busted, we'll help you still be profitable when it comes to March Madness. That's VSiN.com/subscribe for just $9.99. Let VSiN help you turn the madness into money. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. Part of that as well is the VSiN Watch app. The VSiN Watch app is updated. It is better than ever. You'll get access to all of our shows 24/7. My favorite little tidbit that they added was that you can search by topic, by show, by specific angles you're looking for. You want to know what the Dallas Cowboys are looking for? Put that into the search bar. You'll find everything about the Cowboys. You want the Final Four? Search Final Four. That's available. All of it. Download on the VSiN Watch app today, wherever you download your apps. All right, catching our breath here because action's been hot and heavy. 25-7, Auburn leads, 5 minutes to go on Michigan State.
No, 25-17.
What did I say, 7?
25-7.
Yeah, 17. I didn't finish the word. I'm not good at finishing. Pause. 27-17 now. Auburn is up 10. Michigan State with the basketball, 4:45 to go. And they're swarming Richardson every time he has the basketball, by the way. Try for a shot in the post, Broom with the rebound, and it goes back the other way. So Sparty's keeping it close, but the offense is just not there when they need it in these tight spots. So we'll monitor that game. We'll look at the baseball happening. Plus, we have to preview Sunday Night Baseball. Can the Braves finally get off the schneid, taking on the Padres in San Diego? Will they get swept in a 4-game series? That and more coming your way on the other side of Live Bet Sunday, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Live Bet Sunday on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Boom, a ding-dong in Arizona. We'll touch on that momentarily. It's not good for me. It doesn't help me in my bet at all. Welcome back in. It's Live Bet Sunday. This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Will Hill, at not the Will Hill on X. I'm Dustin Swedelson, at Dustin Swedelson, where we're monitoring all the action right now in our Elite 8 matchup between Auburn and Michigan State. Tigers up on Sparty, 27-19. Current number still has Auburn laying 7.5, which feels modest. 136.5 is your total. minus 425 on the money line for Auburn before we hit the break in the action at the end of the half. Some updates throughout baseball. A home run for Chicago. I didn't see who hit it. Was it Suzuki?
Kosuke Fukudome. I didn't see it. No, I don't know.
I believe that's who it was. Let me look. Well played. By the way, you slow down Kosuke Fukudome and you have a very inappropriate word. It was Suzuki with a home run to give the Cubs a 3-0 lead on the D-backs in Arizona. So we've got everything covered here today. Final minute in Cleveland, and the Cavs are going to hold on. They're up 7 as the Clippers are.
The line was 7, right?
The ball. I believe it was 7. Might have been 7.5. Let me pull that up real quick.
Yeah, depending on where I'm sure you could have gotten 7.5, depending on which side you like.
Yeah, but I believe you were right around there. So these could be big free throws then potentially coming. So we'll keep you updated there. But some other updates around baseball. Mariners up 2-1 on the Athletics. We mentioned that earlier, thanks to a home run by Julio Rodriguez. That division's interesting, Will, because you mentioned earlier you have a futures ticket on the Rangers to win the World Series. I'm going to add that as well. I just think it's too big based on the talent on that roster. But can we all just be in agreement? The Houston Astros' reign is over in the AL West? Will, jump on it with me.
Probably. Michigan State, by the way, has cut this to 5.
Oh, okay.
Similar to Billy Packer, and it was, coincidentally, it was the year all the 1 seeds made it in 2008 when it was, I think, North Carolina and Kansas, and he declared the game over. And
it was.
I think it was North Carolina came back to tie or take the lead. He ended up being right. Kansas won the game, but the other team came back. So we'll see if history is repeating itself.
I believe he said it was over like 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, or something like that. It was something crazy.
I forget what the gap was, but it was a big. They probably were down 15. They were down pretty big. I don't remember exactly what it was. As Sparty had a chance to cut it 3, missed a layup. And Auburn here comes the other way, up 5. Last couple minutes of the first half.
And 1.
There you go.
Auburn to the rack. Yep, Auburn to the rack and 1. They'll go to the free throw line. It's a 7-point game. They hit this. It makes it an 8-point game. I like the aggressiveness, just not settling for these outside shots. And I like to see one of the guards going in and getting a bucket underneath. That was Pettiford, who's up to 5 points on the day. Could get to 6. And our guest, Ryan Andrade, I believe, had him over, 14.5 points? Something like that.
I think you're right.
Yeah, over 13.5 points, 14 plus. I hate, by the way, the 14 plus points versus 13.5 over under 13.5. Can we just have it the same across the board? We're just getting too cute here.
I agree.
It's the same thing. It's literally the same thing. So, all right, good. You agree?
A free throw pops out, by the way, and sometimes the numbers will be different, which makes no sense. So
yeah, it doesn't align. Yeah, it doesn't align.
It makes no sense. Well, some of these with college, the props, you can't bet the under. You can't bet the no. It's a one-way market. Maybe that's why.
Yeah. Even though they make more money than some of your favorite professional players, there's still the fear that they're gonna tank intentionally to shave some points.
I have to be fair. I have to be fair. I do understand.
No,
Auburn up 7, last minute or so.
They just hit a shot.
Total was they got a put back. Wonder if they'll review that. It was close to a goaltend, but it looked clean. So that would clear Auburn, you would think, for the first half, where they were laying 3 for the first half. So if you laid the 3 for the first half, you're in good shape here, especially if that bucket stands, which I think it will.
Auburn's defense is fantastic, man. I don't think it gets brought up enough, but they have a lot of size and they can defend the perimeter well.
Yeah.
I love this Auburn team. I know they're the #1 overall seed in what they call travel there on Michigan State, travel on Sparty. So going back the other way with 51 seconds to go. But we get so caught up in the three-point shooting and the guard play and Janai Broome just being an absolute monster. The defense for Auburn's there. I know they stumbled down the stretch, but if they play to what they're capable of being, I think they can win it all. Of the 4 teams left, I know I'm not saying that's a hot take, but I'm saying when they play their best, I think they're significantly better than the other 3 teams that will be there in the Final Four.
I think Duke's winning it.
I don't know why I can't do that. I don't know if that's a bias thing, but there's something about relying on a bunch of really young guys where Auburn's a little more veteran of a team. I think they're a little bit more physical of a team. I just question Duke in the big moment when it's time to do it. how they look. I will say this, every time they bring the ball up the floor, it looks like the most efficient offense I've ever watched play.
I mean, they're going to have the best player in every game in flag. Malawach, we talked about last week, we were on the air. Michigan State gets a bucket and a foul with a chance to cut this to 6. All things considered, if they can make this free throw and get a stop, Auburn will settle for the last shot here with 15 seconds left. 6, with how this game started, 6 would be a hell of a victory, a mini victory for Michigan State. If they go in the locker room down 6, you feel like you're in decent shape for how badly this first half was, or the first 8 minutes of this was for Michigan State.
Yeah, I don't really love the fight you're seeing from Auburn with the lead. You'd like to see them be able to be a little bit better offensively. It's a big thing. You and I doing this live betting show on Sundays in the NFL, we see it all the time. NFL teams don't know how to play with a lead. When it comes to college basketball, because it's such a game of runs, a lot of these kids, they don't know what to do with a lead. They kind of deviate from what got them the lead, and all of a sudden it goes back the other way. It's very difficult to hold on to these big leads, as Izzo is barking with the refs right now about something.
Free throw rimmed out. Auburn was fouled on the rebound, but they are not in the bonus. Only the third team foul, so not a lot of fouls. That's one thing. Keep in mind for the total in the second half. If this whistle continues to be the same, only 9 fouls. That is not a lot for a half of basketball, and 8 up until then. So low fouls. The pace has been pretty slow. So I think I would probably look towards a second half under here, as we're going to get this line pretty quickly. But Auburn up 7 here. As Michigan State had a foul to give, they give it, as they're going to make Auburn work for it here. So big possession. I think there's a big difference psychologically between being up 7 and then being up like 9 or 10 if Auburn's able to get a bucket, hit a 3 here. 10 is much different than 7 from a psychological standpoint. If you're down 7 going into the half, you feel like you're in it. Michigan State. Not that you're not if you're 10, but Michigan State has stabilized the game here.
It's theoretically a 3-possession game down 7, right? You hit 2 threes and a 2, and you have the lead at that point. So as Janai Broom goes to the rack, and he gets fouled with under 4 seconds to go, 3.9 to be exact. So he's going to shoot some free throws, with this being a 7-point game right now. So these are some big ones. These are some big ones here for Auburn, because if you're Auburn, you don't want to lose hold of the rope. That's a guy I worked with back in the day doing play-by-play. He was a former college coach. He used to say, hold on to the rope. And if you're Auburn, you don't want to let go of the rope. I imagine he means tug of war, but I haven't played that game in a long time, Will. However, I'm a fantastic anchor.
Oh, I didn't know that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, just wrap it around. If there's enough rope, and I just sit there. Tough to bring down. Tough to bring down these days. So, all right.
First free throw is good. I think we're getting a timeout here.
Yeah. It's getting a little.
The pace of play in these games
clunky.
Can be a little much.
Yes. Yeah, a little clunky down the stretch here in these games with a few minutes to go. So while we have a break in the action, let me tell you about the money and where the money is going on games. You can find it out. You go to the VSiN.com betting splits. Unlike other sources, our betting splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings Sportsbooks, giving you insight into where the sharp action is landing. Circa's known for taking big bets from the pros, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective as a national sportsbook. This means you're getting the real action, not just public money, but the kind of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle in every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN.com's exclusive betting splits for as little as $9.99 for your first month over at VSiN.com/subscribe. He's Will Hill. I'm Dustin Swedelson. We still have a lot of NBA yet to tip off later today. I've got some player props. It's weird, Will. We've got 2 weeks to go in the season. 2 Sundays from now, regular season end. And these teams have already begun resting for the playoffs. They do not care about the rest of the year. The goal here for the teams at the top, get a big lead so you can kind of chill before the postseason begins. As, you know what? That Cavaliers-Clippers game, 13.5 to go. We're looking at a 4-point game right now. So that got a little bit closer than we anticipated. But the NBA, it's kind of limping into the postseason, and it is not in my basic stratosphere of what I'm paying attention to these days. However, I do think there's some player props worth looking at this afternoon. We'll get you a second half line when it comes to Auburn and Michigan State on the other side of this break. Plus, We still have to look at Sunday Night Baseball, the Braves and the Padres. It's an interesting matchup for our first late game on a Sunday. All of that coming your way on VSiN's Live Bet Sunday. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.